Wow. The noodling. The best. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Night Shift, your safe space to talk about UFOs, UAPs, NHI, disclosure, and everything else. How is everybody doing today? It's Monday, November 25th, 2:05 p.m. on the East Coast. And that means it's time for the Night Shift. It's members only Monday. The best part of every week. Avi's here. Let's give a shout out to our mod squad, Chris and Brett. Chris, what's up? Perplexed, Paris Diamonds, Alminius, of course, Heather, Linda, Hawk, Christian, Sage, Paris, Ebony McKickass is in the house. Who else do we have? BMO Stoked is here. Xander's here. Xander, did that guitar solo take 6 hours? No way. Shout out to Xander Jones, everybody, for the music that you hear at the top of every one of these shows. He has assured me that he's going to be putting together that album soon. My mom is asking about it now, like on the regular. Every time I talk to her, she's like, when's Xander going to put out this album? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Let me ask. The intro is fire. It totally is. Oh my God. Muscle Shirt Monday. Thanks, Hex. I probably wear the muscle shirt too much now at this point, but it's a reminder that I've got to keep working out. So it's it just helps me stay on track. Oh man. Fan of Vetted says it's already been debunked. All the images he got was from a History Channel doc. Someone posted a link to the video in comments. Ooh, is that true? Let's see. Got some interesting stuff to talk about today. I don't know. We hear that stuff sometimes. It's been debunked, and then it hasn't been debunked. Turns out there's more. But if it is, we're going to find out. Who got yelled at by Vetted? Somebody got yelled at by Vetted? No. Apocalypse Promotion says I got yelled at by Vetted for commenting that I believed. Okay, well, we're going to talk about the leaked, the creepy email with supposedly leaked images from the Immaculate Constellation program. Some people say it's a hoax. It's not real. Other people say they're not so sure. It's at least as far as I'm concerned, it's still a developing story. I think it's interesting. I watched it this morning. It just came across my radar. I saw it pop up over the weekend, but I didn't have time to really watch it. My little one is home for the week from his school, which is closed for the holiday week. And so I haven't really had a lot of time this afternoon to get caught up on all the details. So I thought we would look at it together and then we could make our own judgment calls on this. But what's interesting is the YouTube channel. So if you're not familiar with this story, there's a YouTube channel that goes by the name Strange Mysteries. They're actually live streaming right now on that channel. And it's got like 2 million subscribers. And the person who runs the channel said he had gotten an email from a strange email address with some cryptic message in it. And then it contained a PDF that had a bunch of images in it that were supposedly from or related to the Immaculate Constellation program. And I watched that video a few hours ago. I had a number of people were texting me about it and asking if I'd seen it. I hadn't seen it yet. So I watched it this morning over coffee and I was like, man, This is really interesting. I don't know if it's legit or if it's real, but we'll find out, I'm sure, in the fullness of time. But we'll take a look. And I watched the best. Oh, for the Star Trek people out there, I watched the best Star Trek thing ever. It was so good. Have you guys seen this? What's it called? It's called Regeneration. 765874 Regeneration. It's from the Roddenberry archive. Posted this on their Twitter, and it is this Star Trek 10-minute short film that I really want to just show you guys. I don't know if they'll ding me for it. They might, but it's so good. Like tears to your eyes. Good. But before we get to that, a couple of channel updates. Also, Members Only Monday is a chance for us to hang out, me and you, the members, and catch up, see what's going on, touch base, circle back, put some boots on the ground, you know. So shout out to all our members. You guys are the heart of Team Night Shift. Without you, I couldn't do this. And that's a fact, because I have to put a lot of time into this channel, and it is a huge time suck. So just knowing that we have a membership base there to help support the channel and all the costs and expenses that go along with it is everything. It's everything. And we've had a ton of new members come on board in just the last few weeks. And if I can find my page here, I'll give you guys an update. Got some new merch in the store also, which is really fun. Couple of milestones. The channel just broke 1 million views. This is actually a couple days ago. This is not new. It's new news, but it's not super new. It happened a couple of days ago. Finally. And we're knocking at the door of 18,000 subscribers. We're at, what did we say? 17.9 almost. 17,911 subscribers, which is 1,000 new subscribers in the last 28 days. So great job, everybody. We're growing the channel. It's blowing up. The Matt Ford video that went out the other day has been doing really well. That story is picking up steam. It looks like more people are talking about it. The statement he made to Nancy Mace and her committee about the UFO legacy program not whistleblowers, but gatekeepers, who the gatekeepers actually are. Glenn Gaffney, Stephanie O'Sullivan, Doug Wolf, best spy name ever, Doug Wolf, who ran the Office of Global Access. So that's a interesting story. If you haven't looked at that yet, please take a look at that video. And let's see. Shout out to Rich Effects, new member. Michaela Compton, Legend MM600, welcome aboard. Ulf Lundberg, welcome. Michael, Combat Taxi, great name. True 79, welcome. Warwagon, thank you all for being here. All right. Hey, Pack Rat, how are you? Spinundrum says, this alien crap is all starting to blend together. I legit was expecting the dude from Vetted to pop up. They all won in my mind. Oh, that's funny. Toxic Fart says, Night Shift, have you heard, thanks for the super chat, by the way. Have you heard the rumor that Gene Roddenberry was in a meeting in which the alien presence was discussed, and that's how he got a lot of the ideas for Star Trek, especially the Federation? I have not heard that rumor, but I've heard of a variation on that rumor, and that's been around for some time. I remember hearing about Gene Roddenberry having some kind of. Um, so, for those of you who don't know, Gene Roddenberry is the writer who created Star Trek. Uh, he was a California Highway Patrol officer, if I'm remembering correctly. He was a writer for television, and he had created this concept for a show that he thought of as kind of he called it a wagon train to the stars. At the time in the '60s, there were, um, most television were a lot of westerns, a lot of crime shows, a lot of detective shows, uh, westerns, and sitcoms, and Roddenberry came up with the idea for this science fiction show, but that was a completely different type of science fiction show. Up until then, science fiction had been kind of like Buck Rogers, um, uh, goofy, a lot of like silly ray guns and rocket ships, and just kind of silly. Much like in our UFO community, how the UFO topic has been treated in years past, right? Kind of silly and corny and goofy and like a Mars Attacks kind of a thing. And here comes Gene Roddenberry with this idea for a show that was basically about, this is in the 1960s, about a human future where we had overcome all of our problems. Maybe not all of our problems, but the problems of scarcity, war, disease, famine, the civilizational problems that plague humanity. And we had overcome them and then set about the task of exploring the galaxy. And Star Trek is the concept. It was the show, and it was all about celebrating the diversity of life in the universe and the diversity of life on Earth. And it was the first interracial kiss on television. It happened on Star Trek. Nichelle Nichols and Bill Shatner. That was the very first time that had happened. Some of the best science fiction that's ever been written has been written into Star Trek, and it's gone on to have obviously an enormous impact on our culture. But it was the only thing like it, and still to a large extent is the only thing like it. So I've always been a fan of. I don't know if my dad's watching today, but Dad, if you're watching, hi Dad. When we were kids, I would watch Star Trek. In Sunday mornings, it would be on in reruns, and we would sit there and watch it. And I fell in love with it. And the original cast of Bill Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and Nichelle Nichols and um, uh, oh my God, DeForest Kelly. I guess at the time, like they had been around for so long. The show had been on the air in the '60s. It ran for like 3 seasons, then it got canceled, and then the fan base, it turned out, like just continued to grow as the show ran in syndication, and it got enormous. This enormous fan base. My parents were both Trekkies when they were younger, and and then as a young kid, I was growing up watching the show, and then in the '80s, all the Star Trek movies came out. So you had all these different movies. So basically, the whole time I was a kid growing up, it was like every other year there was another Star Trek movie coming out with the same cast, and they were just growing together. So I watched that, and then Star Trek Next Generation came out, and that ran for another however 9 years, X number of movies. So you really get to know these characters. And the point of all this is that a few months ago there was a short film that was released called was it called Memory Wall? Is that what it was called? Otoy, Otoy is the YouTube channel. 2 years ago, and yeah, Memory Wall is what it's called, and it's like a this short little Spock film, and there were a couple of these. There was another one called Unification, and they just put out another one with a de-aged Bill Shatner in it, and William Shatner produced it. It's called Regeneration. It's like 2 minutes long. No, I'm sorry, that's not the right one. It's called Unification, and this one's a little bit longer. It's like 10 minutes long. But the way they did it is so good. It's like it's beautifully done. And Bill Shatner, I just have to show you. I have to show it to you. So we'll watch that in a little bit. We'll watch it in a little bit and see how that goes. Maybe YouTube lets me get away with it. I don't know how there are some channels where that's all they do is just review TV shows and movies and stuff. And if anybody knows how to do this, where you can do it so that YouTube doesn't uh, give you copyright violations, please let me know, because there's a way that it's done, and I've seen it done before. And we've talked internally here at the Night Shift team about doing some kind of a TV review thing or a movie review thing. I've been kicking this idea around. Brett actually reached out the other day. This is a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "We should do this." I thought, man, if we could, I would totally be down to do it. I just have to figure out how you do it without getting your channel banned or locked down by YouTube. There's too much at stake. Can't risk the night shift mission on a movie review, but I would totally do it if there was a pathway. Also, I have a question for the community. This is going to be so weird, but I just figure since I have you all here, let me leverage the community. I have been known to play Call of Duty from time to time, and a couple. This was like, it's been a while. About a year ago, I started to notice some weird activity on my account. I started to get all these weird invitations for like friend invites for people I had no contact with. I didn't know who they were. Just weird stuff on my account. And then out of nowhere, my account was banned. And so I've been trying to get my account unbanned, but it says I have a lifetime ban on Call of Duty. I have no idea why. If anybody knows how to overcome a lifetime ban, please get in contact with me, because this is really weird. I literally just play like anybody else. I don't cheat or use any weird stuff. So I don't understand why it happened, but somehow it happened, and now I completely am cut off from the Call of Duty servers. And I don't know, it's like a server level thing. So if anybody has any ideas on that, please go to the Team Night Shift website and go to make contact and click on the link and reach out to me. Let me know. Dave Roscoe says, I think reviewing is fair use. I think so too. But I've also shown things on this channel in the past. Like I'll show a trailer for a movie, just a trailer, like a 2-minute trailer. And I've gotten not a copyright strike, but I've gotten like a demonetization thing where they go, you can't monetize this video because it's got a trailer. Well, it's a 2-hour video and I review a trailer for like 5 minutes and then they just demonetize the whole video. Oh, it's Space Cow says a scrolling banner saying it's a review. Ooh, we'll see. Maybe that works. Derek Kennedy says Alien Romulus was cool. I just watched Romulus. It was cool. Alien Romulus was really cool. There was like, I feel like they tacked on a little bit too much towards the end, but man, the set design, the art direction was amazing. The props were awesome. The alien effects were great. If you guys haven't seen Alien Romulus, I think it's on Hulu. All the alien stuff's on Hulu. It's so good. They really do a great job of keeping the technology. It looks like a science fiction movie as the science fiction, as all of the technology would have been imagined in like 1984. They've stuck with that aesthetic and it carries through the whole film and it's great. So if you're into that look, I highly recommend it. It's the universe telling you to play a different game. Yeah. Renee Cruz vetted. Must have seen me on third phase of Moon Leak Project. Look Now TV. Oh, yeah, it was probably hacked. Thanks, Ebony. I thought so. Michael Moss says, take 2 weeks off and quit. You mean quit like playing the game or just quit? Uh, let's see. Way too many UFO blue wrenches. Is there something going on with Reddit right now? Like, is there a thing with what's going on with Patrick? I'm in the comments. I'm just seeing like some people are talking about vetted. Like, there's something going on. Like they got. Conservadev says, I've never watched any alien movies before. Sad, I know, but it's worth it. Is it worth it? And does it align with real world UFO experiences? It does not align with real world UFO experiences, but they're great. And if you want to just start, if you want to really a traditional like slow burn horror movie, start with Ridley Scott's original Alien. Start there, watch that one. If you want to get involved in the Alien franchise and you want to just dive into something that's a lot more like with some action to it, start with James Cameron's sequel to that movie, Aliens, which is phenomenal. So good. Alien 3 was David Fincher's entry into the franchise. And though it was critically panned at the time, has actually turned into quite the cult favorite. And I love Alien 3. It's really, really good. Charles Dance is in it. Charles S. Dutton is in it. Sigourney Weaver's in it. They get really creative because the planet that they're on in Alien 3, like the situation they're in, they're on this prison colony where there are no weapons. And there's an alien loose in the colony. So they have to figure out how to deal with this. But they have all the weaponry that they had in Aliens is not available. So they've got to just get creative. And it's really good. Yeah, Romulus, they did some really nice callbacks to the original Alien. That was great. Somebody just said that. Okay. So a couple other quick updates. Let me just see what I've got here for you. I feel like I just did this 5 minutes ago and I've already, there it is. Okay. Bear with me 1 second while I load this up. All right. So Team Night Shift is the website, teamnightshift.com. If you haven't already gone there, go there. And you can sign up for our mailing list, which is still in infancy. We're still building that up. But you can get on the mailing list so that when we do have things to announce, we can announce them there. But everything else you'll hear about on the YouTube channel. You can check out past episodes. You can look up this link for research, just has some cool links to articles that you might find interesting that talk about the topic, what's going on with the current push for disclosure. You can go to make contact. You can click there and you can get in touch with me directly if you have some idea for a new show. If you want to do an interview, if you've got something you want to talk about, an experience you want to share, get in touch with me. Let me know what's on your mind. Let's figure out a way that we can make it work. If it looks like it makes sense for the channel, then we'll do it. We'll figure out a way to make it work and we'll talk about it. You can also click the link for Discord, and it should take you straight to join our Discord server. So if you want to get involved in the Discord, you can participate in the conversation there and get involved in our community just by clicking that link. And also, if you click on the merch tab, I just got the first Night Shift hoodie test pieces in, and these are unbelievable. They're so good. So if you're looking for a hoodie for this holiday season, I highly recommend the Night Shift unisex oversized hoodie. Go a size up, make it baggy, super cozy, super comfortable. These are awesome. So I just got that test piece in, and I just want to let you know. We've also got our Does It Rhyme with Schmigelo shirts. They're available on the website. So if you're interested in the coolest billionaire in the UFO UAP space, I can't say his name, but it rhymes with Schmigelo. I'll tell you that for free. Full Metal Nancy Mace. Those are available. And come at me, bro. Nancy Mace muscle shirt. So go to the website. Check it out. It's all there for you. Free shipping on most of the shirts. Some of them we don't do free shipping on, but definitely free shipping on the Night Shift Watchman logo shirt. We're shipping to Mexico. We're shipping to all over Europe now. We should be shipping to pretty much everywhere. So if you have any issues, let me know, and we'll get them sorted out. All right, that's the website. Ooh, there we go. There's my text logo. And this is all, oh, on that subject. Here we go. Bear with me one second, gang. There we go. Shout out to Marco. There we go. Can I make this work? Marco, there we go. Nice shirt, Marco. Marco from Mexico sent me this picture. We had some we overcame some challenges on shipping, and we made sure that we got him squared away. So Marco, thanks for the shot of the picture. Is that you surfing in the background? Shirt looks great, by the way. Okay. So let's take a look at this strange, what is it? Strange Mysteries channel. The alien stuff, leaked UFO stuff. And we'll come back around to the Star Trek thing at the end. We have time for it. Space Cow says, I bet Nancy Mace would wear the shirt if you sent her one. Don't forget, by the way, to smash that like button. Please do, because when you hit the like button when you're watching, that boosts this live stream, and YouTube recommends it more in the moment, like immediately. And so it does pick up, and it helps us reach more people. So please do hit that like button. Okay, so now let me get rid of this picture. Thanks, Marco. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, so a couple of days ago, this is the big story for today. A couple of days ago, this channel, Strange Mysteries on YouTube, got a uh, the guy who runs the channel. Now, I don't know much about this channel. I really don't. I just became aware of it over the weekend, but I was running around doing parent stuff, so I didn't really have a lot of time to dive into this. But this gentleman who runs this channel is currently doing a live stream right now, and he's answering questions about these videos. But this is the channel, Strange Mysteries. 1.95 million subscribers, 365 videos. It says we seek to explore what is not yet understood, and they put out a video called "I Received a Creepy Email with Leaked UFO Footage," and it's about 12 minutes long. And in this video, he basically talks about this email that he got and how weird it is. And he reads through the email, and I thought we could take a look at this together. I'll turn my video off, or let me see if I can move my camera to a different spot so I'm not competing with him. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. This is the video. The first video is 12 minutes long, and I think he's already put out 2 updates to this. So let's take a look at this first one. We'll watch through a few minutes of it, and then we can wrap about what he's got to say. But this is really interesting. But by the way, this video came out, and then it kind of blew up on Reddit a little bit, and there's mixed reaction to it. Some people think it's obviously fake. Some people think it's obviously legit. I think it's more complicated than just what the comments say. I think there's probably some shenanigans going on in the comments. So I think the jury's still out for me, but let's take a look and you can see for yourself. Here we go.
So I received a bit of a weird email about an hour ago from someone claiming to have some sort of access to the inner workings of, I guess, Immaculate Constellation. They wanted what they shared with me to be shared on this channel. So I'm just going to read the email that they sent to me, which is, I don't know what to think of it. I mean, you guys tell me. And then share with you what they sent me, which I'm not sure how to interpret. Anyways, let's just go through this. Okay, the title of the email is Confidential IR Picture Set of UAPs from the Legacy Program. Please read carefully. This person has asked me to redact their email address, although I can tell you that there's nothing really identifiable in it. I hope this message finds you well. I am reaching out with information that has been classified and intentionally withheld from the public regarding unidentified aerial phenomenon and the ongoing covert operations surrounding them. My decision to reach out to you has not been made lightly, and I am fully aware of the risks involved. I initially considered other individuals to share this information with, including another creator who expressed interest but was unable to commit due to other obligations. However, given the sensitive nature of this material and the extreme precautions necessary to protect my identity, I believe you are the best suited to handle this information responsibly. Am I? I guess we'll see. But many traditional media outlets would require verification of my identity and credentials. This is not feasible due to the risks involved. These organizations, despite their best intentions, are not equipped to handle the level of secrecy and potential retaliation associated with this information. I guess I am. However, I will tell you that I was part of one of the legacy programs overseen by a parent program. I know that's vague, but unfortunately, that's all I can offer at this point. You know, I can't say what program or what was the name of this program, right? Well, it was called the Immaculate Constellation program that you are familiar with now. I wonder if they meant to say, you know, I couldn't say what program, because that doesn't make sense. The images I'm providing here have been carefully anonymized. Yeah, and they've been really hardcore redacted, with which I'll share with you guys in a second. I've ensured that they have been made accessible to hundreds of people within the system. This way, my identity is shielded, making it far less likely that I can be traced as the source of this leak. These images, captured through various ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance collection methods, show clear evidence of what has been termed orbs and motherships, different shapes operating at various sites of extreme sensitivity. Among the locations featured are nuclear deterrent bases, and these objects are clearly surveilling these sites, sometimes with close proximity. While I am not prepared to discuss the incidents associated with these images further, it's important for you to understand that these files are not available online. I urge you to use any method at your disposal, reverse image searches, analysis by your community, or whatever you need to do to validate these materials and convey their authenticity to your audience. Actually, I haven't done that yet. I haven't reverse image searched these. So if anyone wants to do that for me, or maybe I'll do that later or something, that'd be cool. Because if they weren't found online, that's kind of special. My responsibility here is to ensure the truth is brought to light. How you choose to proceed is up to you, but I hope the evidence I provided will speak for itself. Kindly keep my email confidential when sharing this with your audience. I may have more to share with you in the future. That's really what I care about. I want to see the HD footage. I want to see really good. I want to see good footage. Okay, and I replied to him like, do you happen to have any of the original images with metadata intact? Also, do you happen to have any video? Metadata can be spoofed, but also, do you happen to have any videos or other information about these photos? I have the original images in digital format, but I cannot provide them directly to avoid any possibility of tracing. For this reason, I chose to send them in this scanned format. Please note that these images do not represent the best quality of what I have. This is merely a fraction akin to the last puff of a cigarette. Well, I don't know. I hope if this guy is legit, and he has access to some like really crazy stuff, that'd be really cool. And then he's like, once you've reviewed and taken action with this PDF, I will send additional material. I hope that's videos. I like videos.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here. So I believe Nathan is the name of the guy who's talking here in this video. It says Nathan in the email, so we'll go with Nathan. Nathan seems to be legitimately curious about what this is all about, and he seems a little flummoxed about the whole thing, which would make sense. I get strange emails from time to time from people, nothing of this magnitude or that has claimed to be this magnitude, but it's weird because sometimes you'll just get an email from somebody and without any way to really vet who they are or verify who they are, you're kind of left to your own devices to figure out what to do with it. And sometimes you have to just make a judgment call and go, well, I think this is interesting. We can talk about it. I think the thing with a channel like this is to keep in mind, Night Shift is not in a position to like solve UFOs forever. Like we just can't do it. So we're entertaining some of these things. We're taking a look and we're going to see what we think. So stick with this. It gets more interesting. But he is saying like, I want video. I want 4K video. I want high definition images. Like I need to see more than this. So points to Nathan for that.
HD videos that are color. And I can also like see if they're anywhere else on the internet. What I can share for now is that some of these images were taken at critical locations, including our nuclear deterrent bases. These objects are clearly surveilling, I can't say that word, these sites, sometimes from very close proximity, which we believe may be in preparation for something more significant. And then I'm like, well, if I can share your email, then or not your email.
Okay, so that actually of this entire video, that little bit right there stood out to me the most because if you go back and listen to it again, listen to what he says.
Which we believe may be surveilling, I can't say that word, these sites, sometimes from very close proximity, which we believe may be in preparation for something more significant. And then
we believe maybe so these UAPs are seen surveilling sensitive military sites, and then the author of this email says, which we believe may be in preparation for something more significant. Now, in and of itself, that doesn't mean anything, but that statement, just by itself, does fit in with some of the other rumors that have been going around in the disclosure space right now, or over the last few months. There's been conversation about some kind of a pending event, some kind of a thing that's coming, something that's motivating the conversation to move faster at an accelerated pace, some kind of a thing that is going to force the hand of the powers that be and leave them no choice but to address this in a very public way because something is going to happen. That's been the rumor. Now, what that thing is and how it's going to go down, there are a million different flavors of that rumor, and we just don't know. And for right now, it's basically just that. It's a rumor. But it's a compelling rumor. It's interesting how many people have talked about something similar over a longer period of time. So when Lou Elizondo released his book, Imminent, a lot of people took that as a clue that he knows something is on its way. Something is coming. Back to, John Lear back in the 80s said that there was some event that was supposed to happen. Notably, there was an abduction researcher by the name of Carla Turner. If you look up Carla Turner, you'll find her presentations. Go on DuckDuckGo and do a video search under the name Carla Turner, Carla with a K, Turner. And you'll find presentations that she does for MUFON and other groups where she says, contactees and abductees have been given predictions of coming events forever. Like that's going back as far as they've been doing research on contactees and abductees. And she says it never is accurate. Like what they say is going to happen on XYZ day or at this particular time, that stuff doesn't ever really happen. So either they're being intentionally deceptive for one reason or another, or they just don't care, or they don't actually know, or some other thing is going on. It's all bullshit. But she makes that point and she stands by it. And I think that's worth keeping in mind. So when we think about rumors and stuff like this of some kind of big object that might be coming to Earth or some kind of impending contact scenario, I'm not necessarily looking at the rumors. What I'm looking at is the activity of people at a high level. What does that indicate to me? So you have a guy like Carl Nell, who right now is a great person to kind of focus on, or Admiral Tim Gallaudet, people with impeccable resumes, with perfect records. They're top of their game for what it is that they do. And they're coming forward and putting their reputation on the line and standing by their statements about what's going on in the oceans and in the air. Carl Nell famously said, there is zero doubt that non-human intelligence is here. It's been interacting with humanity for a long time, and that's ongoing. For a guy like him, look him up. Go look at his LinkedIn. Look at his Wikipedia entry. These are people who don't have to say this stuff. There's no reason for them to put their whole reputation on. They've already built their career. They've already established their credentials. So there's no reason to do this stuff. So I look at that, and I look at stuff like in Elizondo's book, Imminent. In the beginning, the foreword of the book, Chris Mellon talks about how intelligence agencies failing to communicate properly with one another is what led to national security tragedies like the Pearl Harbor attack and the 9/11 attacks. And he's very specific about those two examples. Those are the ones that he chooses to show like the magnitude of the kind of problem that we're dealing with vis-a-vis UFO, UAP disclosure, and why this is a bigger issue. He's like, we need to talk about this because in the past, when we have not discussed issues like this, we suffer these enormous surprise moments that are just we're not prepared for. And I think he makes an excellent point. He's also talked about that at a year ago at the Soul Foundation's first symposium. He gave a great speech, and he talked about the security implications of a UAP UFO presence. I think it's worth noting that at least from all the signs that I'm seeing, it seems like the activity level of UAP on, around Earth, in orbit, in the oceans, one, it definitely seems like we're talking about it a lot more. But my question is that because there is a increase in activity? Are we seeing, if for those of you who watch this space, are we seeing an actual increase in activity? In other words, could we already be in the midst of some kind of event, something where there's things happening all the time now? They're happening in more frequently in more places, and our governments just aren't being clear with us about that. I don't know. I don't. It's tough to know for sure if we're seeing more because we have more people looking, or if we're seeing more because we have more advanced tools and we know kind of what to look for. We're learning how to see some of these things, infrared, night vision, particularly the older night vision equipment is supposedly able to pick up on some of these craft when they're cloaked. So it's a lot of questions there about exactly what's going on, but it's an important conversation to be having right now. What is happening? Is it happening faster? Is there more of it? Is something else going on here? So I found that really compelling. We're going to go ahead and finish this video, and then we'll talk about the rest of it.
Probably be at least better than if I just share these images. He's like, yeah, maybe I'll have more stuff for you. Anyways, yeah, so I didn't like download the PDF because there could be like viruses or something in it. I did use an alternative method because I don't know who this person is, and apparently they don't want anyone to know who they are. But anyways, this is the name of the document that he sent me. NRO, Immaculate Constellation, UAP IRCam, Picture Set Research Station, NA. I assume that means North America. 4003.pdf. And then this is the PDF of the images. There's 14 pages. These are all images. I don't know, like, so these are, what are they called? These are infrared cameras, which would mean that's why they're in black and white, I believe. Like shapes like this, they weren't discussed in the thing given to Congress about like the common types of things that people see. Like a starfish thing. I've never heard of that before. This one is just like really here, let me move myself. This one's just like a light in the sky. I mean, you can see it's like really redacted. Here's another one, super redacted. I mean, I don't know what this is. This could be like a plane. Another one, really highly redacted. Like these could be pretty easily like spoofed or something. Then again, I haven't done a reverse image search on these. And another one, I mean, more redactions, more lights.
Klingon
like,
bird of prey.
The thing is with these images, they don't really tell us much. Like we can't really infer much information from these. This maybe that's in the water or something. I don't know. Another one. So this one's a bit weird. I haven't seen anything like this before. Like I'm pretty sure that it's like a little thing with 4 legs sticking out of it. Heavily redacted again. Nothing like this is mentioned in the Immaculate Constellation report that was given to Congress. Like any shapes like this. And then there's another image of them like, I don't know, twirling away or something. It's so weird. Weird. And then
like
this one's a bit interesting. It looks like I'm not exactly sure what sort of, well, I guess this is an infrared camera, so this might be like maybe the best like close up like infrared that I've seen of some sort of disc. I guess you can kind of see like paths or patterns like going on here.
I don't know if anybody else can see this on your end, but does it look like to anyone else there's a faint circle around this image, right? So you've got it looks like an infrared view of what appears to be a disc looking sideways on, but does anybody else see this? It looks like there's a very faint circle, perfect circle right around the craft. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm just seeing that on my end.
Heavily redacted once again. And then just a ball. Yep. Nothing new there. Kind of nothing special there. And then yeah, some more weird stuff. I mean, these don't really seem to deviate from stuff that we've already seen. But for some reason, this guy or whomever this is wanted me to show these images on my channel to you guys. I'm not really sure what the motive is to show some of these. Maybe it's to kind of like like a foot in the door phenomenon thing. Like if I share these and then like nothing happens to him, then maybe he'll send me more stuff, pending he's legit. I don't know.
All right, so that's the first. That's the first video. So of note, I think in the email exchange between Nathan and the original sender, that comment about these things have been spotted surveilling military and sensitive sites, nuclear sites, and then it just that extra little line of, we think it might be in preparation for something more significant. I don't know. That's a really interesting little statement. How do we do this with a little more pizzazz? Let's see here. It's possible. It is possible that this is some sort of disinfo. It's in fact, it's probably likely that this is some kind of disinfo or some other hoax or fake thing, whatever. It could be. It literally could be anything. I think that's important to keep in mind before we go too far over the ledge. But in just entertaining it and looking at it, it's compelling. Some of these shapes are really interesting. And in this second video, he goes into more detail about what's going on here. And we get to see some more images that I think are a little bit more compelling. So let's take a look at the second video. This channel, by the way, didn't have a lot of, it wasn't like a UFO channel. He's just got like 2 million subscribers. But that's not what he normally does. Like the actual channel is this, Strange Mysteries. And it's a lot of like, here, let's go videos. How everything came from nothing. Basically immortal tardigrade video. Did we just discover dark oxygen on Earth? 5,000 views, 5,000 views, 2.4 thousand views. You know, just going back, some of these, 15,000, 19,000 views. These are like night shift numbers for a for a channel that's got 2 million subscribers. Should be much higher view counts. So occasionally there was the UFO videos officially released by the Pentagon. This is 4 years ago, 90,000 views. So it's not like a ton of views on this channel, but it's got a big audience. So let's look at the second video. This is update. I received a creepy email with leaked UFO footage, and then we get to see some pictures. Let's go there and check it out. I'm going to back up to the beginning.
Okay. We're back. This is an update to the video that you've probably seen. It's the one where this guy has emailed me, said he has access to photos of UFOs and stuff, or UAPs, and I'm going to link that video, which you should probably watch if you haven't seen it yet, in the description below. It'll also be at the end of this video, but you should watch that first one for context. So the guy emailed me back, and he'd like for me to read some stuff to you all. He also provided me with more images, and there's just like more mysteries. I'm not exactly sure how to respond to all this stuff, but my job is to just share it with you. So here's his email to me in response to you all. First off, to the folks leaving supportive and constructive comments, you are the real MVPs of this movement. The slog for transparency isn't easy, and it's your thoughtful engagement that keeps the wheels turning. Now on to the main event. There are some things I need to address, especially regarding your channel and the UFOs subreddit, which I guess it kind of, the original video kind of went viral on. Number one, the ceiling fan UFO. Peak comedy. I'll admit the ceiling fan comparison gave me a good laugh. Thanks for that. But here's the thing. Last I checked, Home Depot doesn't stock gravity-defying, high-altitude, thermally anomalous ceiling fans. Let's be real here. Yes, UAPs come in all sorts of bizarre shapes, but to chalk this one up to a ceiling fan, it's a disservice to the serious analysis required for this field. Let's not forget that half of you are ready to canonize the jellyfish UAP. The one that looks like a melted Imperial probe droid, just because someone with a name shared it. If some random person had leaked that jellyfish footage, it would have been dismissed outright, just like many of you initially wrote off the Tic Tac footage before the New York Times gave it legitimacy. Double standards much? By the way, as a quick preview, here are some of the images we're going to see. But I'm going to keep reading this. Number 2, why the ceiling fan UAP leaking image was included. The so-called ceiling fan UAP made it into that document for one reason. It was anomalous, period. I didn't provide explanations because I didn't have to. The purpose was to present data, not to hold anyone's hand through their own biases. For context, that image and several others were gathered using different classified ISR systems. HUD captures, thermal optics, and FLIR from platforms operated not just by the US, but also by allied intelligence services. That's kind of okay. I didn't realize that. We're talking about a range of sources, each with their own capabilities and classifications. Some of these images date back decades, others are more recent, and yes, some originate from allied agencies. You're seeing a mix, like it or not. And before anyone trots out the AI-generated argument, no, this wasn't AI-generated. If I was trying to fabricate something using AI, I'd pick a design far more compelling than a ceiling fan. Also, I'll just say, like, in my opinion, like, you can't even get AI to create something boring. Like, it just runs wild with its imagination. Now, I mean, you could...
Quick point here. The AI conversation is legitimate and real, and it's important to talk about this. There's no way to really trust pictures or video these days unless they are corroborated by other sources, or there are multiple different angles on the same video, and those can be videos and photos by themselves aren't enough because the AI is so good. I do agree that it's hard to get AI to generate something simple. I mean, I've tried it, and I've spent hours trying to get, really simple, basic things, but you're not, consistency and simplicity sometimes don't really come easily when it comes to creating images on AI. So I don't know that these are AI generated. I wouldn't jump to that conclusion necessarily, but we should be on guard. There's definitely other ways to fake images, and these could be totally fake. So I don't want to be... I want to just take them all at face value, but let's just keep going. Let's watch a little bit more and see where this goes.
I don't know. I'll give my opinion after I read this. Number 3. Let's see. The cruciform entity. Yes, it resembles historic accounts like the Nuremberg celestial phenomenon and the incident over Guildford, Surrey. This isn't coincidental. Similar configurations have been observed across various platforms and time frames. There are multiple documented shapes of the cruciform entity, and its behavior suggests something far beyond our current technological capabilities. If you did watch the previous video, that picture is pretty creepy. I did go back and I did some research over the Nuremberg incident, where there were crosses, and I'll go into that in detail in a second. Okay, number 4. Why I sent the images. This was, above all, a test, a way to gauge what the public can and cannot digest. Think of it as a litmus test for the community's readiness. Some of you passed with flying colors, critically engaging with the material. Others, not so much. Unfortunately, as I've seen with the reactions to this image, I guess to the ceiling fan, I'm left questioning whether the broader community is ready for meaningful disclosure. Many of you dismiss something genuinely anomalous as a ceiling fan, much like how people dismissed the Tic Tac footage for years. I will say if we had a video of... When we see videos of things, they do have a bit more validity. Anyways, he goes on to say, this sort of knee-jerk ridicule undermines serious discussion and analysis. One thing I will say here is that if this guy is legit and he has special access to this, and these images are real, he is like making a bit of a risk. He's risking something, and although a bit of skepticism is healthy, I think that take it as serious as he does, because he's putting himself out there. And then number 5, the road ahead. Here's the part that may disappoint some of you. I won't be continuing this process. My original plan was to release these leaks incrementally, ramping up to higher definition imagery and more compelling evidence. The initial PDF release, including the last puff of a cigarette imagery, were meant to start the conversation, not to end it. But seeing how quickly this community dismissed valid data as ceiling fans, I'm not convinced you're ready. Disclosure is a privilege, not an entitlement. And the reactions I've seen so far don't inspire confidence. And for those waiting on certain groups, you know who they are, to step up, good luck. Evangelics will label these entities demonic and shut the conversation down. Others, like Luis, he's talking about Luis Elizondo, who testified in front of Congress, will tell you they need to have this conversation in a skiff and leave it at that. Be seeing you guys. Now, he does say this, and then he's still attached like some new images. I gotta say, some of these images were different than things I've seen before. Some weren't. Let's just go through this email conversation. He says, I've also sent you an attachment. Make sure to check it out. Thanks. Also, someone I know mentioned that the one with engines is likely from Skunkworks, but I'm not sure. Okay, if you don't know what Skunkworks is, I'm going to show these images in a second. I didn't know what it was either. Skunkworks is an official pseudonym for Lockheed Martin's advanced development programs.
Okay. So my take is that Nathan, the guy talking in the video, is genuinely not clear on why this email came to him. He doesn't know what Skunkworks is. He doesn't seem like he's like really deeply into the UFO community. If you are, you would know what Skunkworks is. Like, that's when you come past like the basic like surface level discussion about UFOs and you go any deeper than that, you immediately learn about Skunkworks, Lockheed Martin, all the different contractors involved. I mean, that's just par for the course. So I think he seems legitimately like confused about what is going on here. Like, who is sending him this? I don't get the sense that he is like perpetrating a hoax himself. If the information that he's sharing is fake, I don't think he's the one who's faking it. Does that make sense? So just based on watching his own reaction and sort of like listening to him read through it, he just seems like, yeah, this came through and I'm not sure what to make of it. So I take him at his word that this is just a legitimate email. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit because I want to show you these pictures, and this is like 28 minutes long. So we're going to go to, here we go.
Anyways, let's go on to the images. That he provided, and I'll go over each one. You don't need me on the screen anymore. So if you remember, he wanted 4 of them redacted or just like blurred out. It's this one, the close-up of a UAP firing up its engines, which I believe is actually something made by the government. And then he wanted the frame from drone footage of a downed ARV retrieval mission. He wanted that blurred too, suddenly. And then he wanted this mothership one blurred. And finally, the cruciform entity.
The cruciform entity.
So this PNG is something that he attached in the email. I have reverse image searched all of these images, including the ones that are blurred, and none of them appear on the internet anywhere. Right now, I think that the creepiest one is this one anyway. Like a giant thing with spikes, just like sitting in the sky.
That is creepy.
But
by the way, I think he's calling that one the chandelier one. I'm calling it the REM automatic for the people. UAP, because if you look at the album cover for REM's Automatic for the People, it looks just like the chandelier.
Creepiest one is this one anyway.
See?
Like a giant thing with spikes, just like sitting in the sky.
See?
But
REM.
even though he asked me to blur these out, I'm going to, while looking at the actual image, I'm going to describe it as best as I can to you. So, for the close-up of a UAP firing up its engines. So first off, there's about, I don't know, 14 different, 14 or 20 different redactions of all the data that's on the screen, or that would be in the image. There's a lot, more than any of the others. This image is in color, and so I don't.
Here we go. Here's another.
Yeah.
That looks like some kind of Imperial fighter craft, like a TIE fighter without the wings, without the panels on the sides.
Next one is just triangle UAP. Looks more like a square in the air though, with a weird angle on it. And then we'll go over here. Another boomerang.
That looks scary.
A cube. Okay, the cruciform entity flyby.
The crystalline entity.
I'm going to go into this in a sec. And the one that I think is the creepiest, which is what Mr. Anonymous calls the chandelier-looking UAP. If I saw this in the sky, I would be terrified.
Okay, so what's interesting about this one, the chandelier UAP, let me see if I can pull this up. Oops. Is that this was leaked. Jeremy Corbell released this image way back when. This was I don't know how long ago, over the Persian Gulf. It says this is on News Nation. This is a thumbnail from that video, and it looks more or less like some of the thumbnails that Nathan is showing on his channel. So if you see, like, there's that chandelier looking UAP, and then you go to Corbell's video, I could see that maybe being the same craft, possibly. The REM automatic for the people. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Like what? There's just something that looks. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this before.
Can you imagine, like, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but what if this is the one that when you see this one, it's over? Like, this is like the last thing you see, kind of a thing. Like maybe the orbs and saucers are just, those are scout craft. Those are like, they're here to just sort of survey the territory. But when you see this thing, this is like the Death Star or the Star Destroyer or something. I don't know. The
Now,
Borg
I want to
cube.
go back to the cruciform one, and I want to go back to how we were originally relating it to the Nuremberg incident. If you guys are familiar with that, this happened in 1561, and it's a woodcut. And in the woodcut, this dude, this is what he says, but basically all this stuff happened in the sky. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because the image that we have here is a cruciform. It's like just a cross. And so I wanted to see if there's any sort of like connections we could make here. First image search. I mean, some of them are kind of, a few, like,
That's
something like this, like a cube.
Could be anything.
I mean,
really.
these are pretty. And then I can ask those questions to him. I know he'll be reading the comments too. And then maybe he can give us some more information.
Okay, so that's the gist, right? Like this is basically the situation so far. And if you go to the Strange Mysteries YouTube channel, which you should do, go here, check them out. There is a live stream going on right now. Don't leave night
If you
shift,
figure out how
but
to
after
recreate
night
this,
shift.
let me know because I'm currently trying. Okay.
So he's
Okay,
going
thank you,
through and
Chief.
basically trying to like answer questions from people.
I don't really know why he emailed me specifically. Maybe he emailed a bunch of people. Maybe some people said yes. Some people just, a lot of people just said no. I'm not exactly sure. I had the exact same question.
So after you finish with night shift, go there and check out that live stream. I'm going to watch that later too, and hopefully we'll get some more answers. But again, this just goes to the idea that we don't know what we don't know, and we're not sure what we can trust information wise. We should be suspicious of everything. If we're thinking critically and we're asking the right questions, then we should be looking for multiple independent forms of data that would corroborate some of these pictures. We don't have that. What we have right now is a mysterious email from someone on the internet with some pictures in it, and those pictures could be of almost anything. They do look really compelling. I'll give it that. And it is interesting. And I think that there is a faction. I'm kind of in Richard Dolan's camp with this, that within the world of the legacy UAP program. And when we say legacy UAP program, we're just talking about the program, the crash retrieval, reverse engineering, retrieval, recovery, reverse engineering program to determine what we're dealing with and to take that technology, make something useful out of it. That's a big piece of this conversation. So if this person who claims to be part of the legacy program is leaking this information, and it turns out that this is legitimate, then we would expect to see that corroborated in future leaks from other people, possibly a number of different people. Richard Dolan has suggested that there is a faction within the legacy program that is trying to pursue disclosure by any means necessary, and they are not waiting around for Congress to come up with a plan to address this. We have sometimes referred to this as catastrophic disclosure on this channel. Other people have used that term. Catastrophic disclosure could be a form of disclosure that is not controlled by the government, where a tidal wave of new information hits us all at once. This could take the form of something called a black swan event, some kind of unexpected event that just happens one day. Like, people woke up on September 11th, and I remember getting ready to go to school that day, and that's when the 9/11 attacks happened, and it's just shocked the whole world. Something like that, something on that bigger than that actually could happen. Or catastrophic disclosure could take the form of a bunch of internal whistleblowers coming forward and dumping a shitload of documents all at once from multiple places, multiple people. It could just be an internet dump. That's possible. There could be some kind of um, organized plan in motion right now to put out an overwhelming amount of information that would just make it impossible to ignore. That's possible. Um, if something like that were to happen, why would you email a random YouTuber? Maybe it's not a random YouTuber. Maybe this person emailed every YouTuber that they thought, was in the relevant space and that had over 1 million subscribers. That could, maybe 30 people got emails like this, and this is the only one that someone decided to do something with, or this is the first. It's tough to know. We don't really know. So for right now, it's an interesting story. I think it's worth looking at. We'll see where it goes from here, but I think it's interesting to consider the possibility. Just consider the possibility. I know there's a lot of pushback to what I'm about to say, but keep in mind, no one has all the answers. It is possible if these craft are seen around our military sites, loitering in our training areas, engaging with our fighter pilots, shadowing our submarines, shadowing our battle groups, naval battle groups. It's who says it has to be love and light? Who says it all has to be positive? It doesn't look positive. They're not like going around handing out solutions to problems. There seems to be some kind of preference for dealing with our military. I know that the prevailing mindset is they're here to help us save us from ourselves, but I feel like we don't really know that. Like, who says that? Where's that coming from? Contactees have reported all kinds of different messages over the years, and abductees have talked about some equally weird but darker possibilities. I've been thinking lately about the idea that maybe it's artificial intelligence that's the real red line. Maybe nuclear weapons are just a step towards what they're really concerned about, which is a human race supercharged with very powerful artificial intelligence and nuclear weapons. Because now we're really able to level up. If that happens, maybe that's where their red line is, and they just want to intervene before then. I'm not saying I know this is going to happen, and I'm not trying to be a doom and gloom fear monger person. I've been accused of that in the past, but I think someone's got to entertain the possibility that we could just be in for some kind of rude awakening. Maybe they're just going to show up here and take over, take control. That doesn't necessarily have to be an Independence Day type of attack or some kind of like Mars attacks scenario. It could just literally be these ships just show up everywhere and they don't leave and they just stay there. And if we already know that we have no capacity to take action against them, then it's over. This doesn't have to be a war. There doesn't have to be anything. It could just be like, hey, we're in charge now. Heads up. And we just wake up in a world where we're not in charge anymore. That's possible. When you see this many military people coming forward and they seem kind of like, I don't want to say frantic, but they seem like this is a pressing concern. It's a pressing concern. Like I would characterize Lou Elizondo as someone who is concerned. I would characterize David Grush as a person who is a whistleblower about the programs that he's aware of, but also someone who is concerned about the implications of what all this could actually mean. Tim Gallaudet, Carl Nell, these are not gentlemen who I would expect to come forward unless there was a real serious reason for them to put their career and their reputation on the line and to go on record in front of the world and say the things that they have said about UAP and UFOs and non-human intelligence. To me, a person like Chris Mellon and the others, there's no reason for them to do that. So something is motivating it. Now you could say, well, it's just they want this information to be out there because we deserve to know. That's sweet. That's a very lovely thing to believe, that it's just we're all just information wants to be free and we all deserve to know, and they're just looking out for the out of the goodness of their heart. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's more complicated than that. I think you're seeing people coming forward saying this is a real serious problem. We need to get serious about addressing it. We need to have real conversations about what's going on here and how we're going to deal with it. We cannot allow these decisions to only be made by a shadowy group of unknown people in a room somewhere that we will never meet or understand. Like our larger decision making bodies need to be involved here, and I think that's probably closer to the truth. It's one of the reasons why I feel comfortable doing this channel and coming on here 2-3 times a week and talking about UFOs and aliens, and not, you don't see me talking about other stuff as much, because there's so much overwhelming evidence here. It's impossible to ignore. I can't ignore it anymore. I have to pay attention to it. So I think it's wise. I'm not saying that we should freak out and like go down to the gun store and start buying bullets. I'm just saying that something seems to be roiling just underneath the surface, and it feels like the longer this goes on, the more we're like, you can almost hear the sound humming in the background, getting louder and louder and louder and louder and louder, like something is coming, something's coming, something's coming. It's just my intuition, but I feel like we've all kind of been feeling that way, at least in this group. Not all of us, but a lot of us. What do you guys think in the audience? What do you guys think? Where's your head at? Look at the geopolitical situation around the world right now. You have the war in Ukraine, Russia, 10,000 North Korean troops fighting in Russia, for Russia, against Ukraine. We have long range American made weapons striking into the heart of Russia. We have Putin lowering the threshold for a nuclear weapon to be used in anger against the United States. We found out just recently that the Biden administration was really hesitant to push back too hard on Putin, because they pegged the likelihood that he would use a nuclear weapon at 50-50. That's pretty fucking high. That's way too high for anybody to be comfortable. Like, that's weird. What I'm saying here is that the Middle East is obviously in flames, as it has been for some time. We seem to be on the precipice. We seem to be approaching the edge of a calamity, of something, like just human stupidity and dumb shit, just stupid things that we should be past by now. It seems like we're just on this path towards some kind of disaster. I know that sounds so. It sounds doom and gloomy, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my generation. Like, we saw so much shit go sideways over the last 30 years that it's weird to like think that we would just be suddenly in some prosperous period where nothing bad's happening. I feel like every 16, 18 months, something huge fucking happens. And I guess there's a part of me that's just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But within the UFO UAP community, it seems like things are taking shape, right? Let's look at the chat and see what you guys have to say. Sage Sleuth says, I honestly am more worried about human beings. I'm way more worried about human beings. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Human beings can definitely screw up a lot, for sure. Stephanie Erickson says, I'm thinking back to Danny Sheehan being concerned about maintaining some sovereignty, in quotations. That was what a great soundbite. I think I even have that pulled up and ready to go. Let's see if I do. Hang on a second. Let's turn this off.
And very importantly, they now know that there are at least 5 non-human species that are highly intelligent and highly technologically developed that have in fact been coming to our planet in these craft. And that there are small grays, they call them, about 3.5 feet tall. The classic, if you ask the average 5th grader in the country to draw an ET person, they'll draw the ET person for you. You know, large head, big, huge, dark oval eyes, 3 fingers, 3.5 feet tall, etc. There are the tall grays that are as high as almost 6 feet tall, that are the exact same version of this. There are the reptilian species. We need to recognize that each and every one of us during our gestation period in our mother's wombs go through a kind of reptilian stage where we have gills and tail and the whole, because of the evolutionary process here on our planet of our species, that we pass through a reptilian stage in the zygote as we develop in our mother's wombs. What appears to have happened is elsewhere in our galaxy, one of the species has actually, at that particular point in their evolutionary process, have in fact branched out into higher and higher intelligence and become highly technologically developed. And I've actually talked directly to people who stood face to face with a 6 feet tall reptilian being, standing right in the living room.
This is Danny Sheehan at Yale University, by the way. That's where he's giving this presentation. He's at Yale University he just talked about short grays, tall grays, and reptilians to a room full of people at Yale. Stick with me. This wasn't the original clip that I wanted to show you, but let's go to the next one. I think it was, maybe let's try this one.
Okay, not only the issue of UFOs, but the issue of the potential thermonuclear war and the issue of global climate change. You've got to come to grips with all 3 of these things because your world is getting set to change right out from under you. Okay, and you don't know it yet. So that those of you who get out ahead of the power curve and start dealing with this right now are going to be the ones that are the go-to people when the roof starts falling in on this issue. And you're going to be the one that people say, oh, I know a friend who's been talking about this. I know a person who's been trying to get courses. We don't want to lose our sovereignty.
There it is.
That they haven't prepared forward, trying to establish a systematic process for a controlled disclosure about their presence, because they believe that if in fact this is put off and the Defense Department continues to lie about this, then what's going to happen is when the intervention takes place on the part of the extraterrestrial civilization, it's going to be totally disruptive. That people are not prepared for it, that they haven't prepared to know how to respond to it economically, politically, geopolitically, religiously and theologically, and philosophically. This is something that needs to be done at the academic level. All of these departments have to mobilize now and start to prepare our people for this intervention, this getting ready to take place. Okay, we want this to be as amicable as possible. We want to get on famously with the extraterrestrial civilization. We don't want to lose our sovereignty. We want to be able to maintain as much self-governance and control as we can on our planet. But the fact of the matter is that we have made the mistake of allowing 0.1% of the elite on our planet to take over and continue to run things for their own primary advantage. We are the beneficiaries, for example, here in North America.
Okay. So you heard what he said. He said, when the intervention happens, it's going to be disruptive. When the intervention happens, we have to take steps and mobilize now so that we're prepared. That he said that they're not telling us, but there's an intervention coming. And when it happens, it's going to be disruptive. This is Danny Sheehan at Yale University saying this. That's what I mean. I'm not looking at like some blurry video on the internet. I'm looking at what people are saying. And look at his history and his background. We've interviewed Danny on this channel, and he's He's as honest as they come. He's as legit as they come. He's seen the classified sections of Project Blue Book. He is he makes these presentations, and what he has to say is truly unbelievable. But he says it with such conviction and such directness that it's hard to ignore. So between, it's, if it were just him, that'd be one thing. But if it's him, it's Carl Nell, Grush, Elizondo's book, Imminent. Something's imminent. What's imminent, Lou? Now I've got Danny Sheehan in my other ear saying there's going to be an intervention. We're totally unprepared. We've got to mobilize people now to start getting people ready for this. We need to start having this conversation now. I guess, yeah, it could be a big nothing burger. Like maybe nothing happens and life just goes on. But God, if it did happen, it's only going to happen once. Let's look at the chat. Chameleon UK says, we're all going to die, all caps. Random Content says, something's coming. You can feel it. Random Content says, I have advocated for direct intervention from NHI. JB says, we live in the grips of mass formation psychosis. Well, I don't know about that. What do you mean? Like, this is all really happening. Like, Congress has had hearings on this. There's congressional legislation that has spelled out NHI and UAP and technologies of non-human origin. Like, this is all a matter of public record on in Congress and within our government. There are numerous agencies that have established offices that have been funded to study this issue. There are universities that are looking at it. Avi Loeb's team at Harvard on the Soul Foundation, everyone there is working on this. The New Paradigm Institute, like, we're seeing institutions form specifically for the purpose of dealing with this issue. It's not like UFOs are some big fever dream that we're all just like sharing together. This is actually happening. And I think that's what's so important for us to keep in mind. Something real is going on here. Now, it's been distorted, of course, through years of disinformation and misinformation and games of telephone between people. And, we don't really know, where the facts end and the fiction begins, but we do know that there are facts here. Some of this stuff is legitimately real, actually happening, affecting real people. There are biological effects. There are physical effects. There are technological effects on our machinery and our equipment, our nuclear weapons. Our pilots are seeing this stuff. Trained military observers, the best in their field, the best at what they do. We trust these people with nuclear weapons. We trust them with billion-dollar pieces of equipment. We trust them with the lives of civilians and other members of the military. And all of them are telling us the same thing. They're saying, we see this stuff all the time, sometimes every day, sometimes for years and years and years at a time. They seem to be interacting with our weapon systems, our military assets, our nuclear weapons, our security apparatus. They seem to be engaging our fighter aircraft to some degree. If you read the Immaculate Constellation document and you take that at face value, which, I do, but I guess it could be wrong. It says that they're formations of spheres that are zipping over the ocean and break apart into different groups. They'll sometimes force our fighter jets to leave an area. They'll escort them away. It seems like, from what I'm seeing, that sounds pretty provocative. It sounds pretty like short of firing on some of our craft, which they may have done. We don't know. I don't think the military would come forward and say that. I don't think they would really want people to know that if we're actually engaging these craft and our guys are getting killed or shot down, they wouldn't say that. They're not going to tell us. So I kind of think of it like, I don't know, like we're in this situation where it's going to be some idle Tuesday afternoon and you'll be at work doing whatever or about to get in your car. You'll have your keys in your hand and your sunglasses. You'll be going, something really, it'll be something really boring that you'll be brushing your teeth, or, I don't know, maybe in the bathroom or whatever. And then you're just going to get a thing on your phone. That emergency contact thing on your iPhone is going to go off, and that big like emergency alert sound is going to happen. Or you'll turn on you'll open up your phone and you'll see like a news alert, and you'll just be like, what? And then you'll go to the TV and you'll flip that on, and you'll see these big chandelier craft over New York City and Tokyo and San Francisco and Chicago and Mexico City and all over the world. And suddenly it's going to be the only story that anyone talks about. And then it'll just be over. Like, it'll happen. That's kind of where my head's at. I have this weird sense that that's what's coming. I could be totally wrong. I'm prepared to be wrong. Rocco says, just watching the very beginning of this broadcast, my first impression are that the emails sound like something Lou Elizondo would write. Hey, Rocco, great point. I thought the same thing. It sounded like his speech. Like, sometimes Lou, when he talks, he speaks in this very measured, sort of planned out way, like he's I don't know, like he's in front of a judge. He's very careful with the way he words certain things, and it sounds like he's kind of pre-written out his statement, or at least in his mind, and he's just trying to like. I always get the feeling with Lou, he's trying to tell us things without saying them out loud. He's like, if you can read between the lines, then he's already told you everything you need to know. But if you can't read between the lines and you're just taking what he's saying at face value, then you're missing like 60% of the message. But yeah, that's a great point, Rocco. I thought the same thing. Um, if that did happen and there was some kind of intervention and they showed up, I think it would go down something like this. It's going to be. Oh, by the way, I was trying to make this point earlier. You've got North Korean soldiers fighting for Russia in a war against Ukraine. You've got American missiles being launched by Ukrainians into Russian territory. How are we not in a world war right now? How are we not? How is that not a world war? Like, aren't we already in one? You've got Israel bombing the people in Gaza literally into oblivion, like back into the fucking Stone Age, wiping these people off the face of the map. You've got, I mean, tremendous violence, and it's constant. You've got a belligerent North Korea launching ICBMs into the ocean, which is nothing new, but they're getting much more sassy about it lately. You've got China stepping up to declare their red lines to President Biden in Peru. This was Xi Jinping just the other day saying these are our red lines. Like, this is a fucking no-go for us. China's taking a much larger role in global geopolitics than they have in the past. They have made it clear that they're going to go after Taiwan at some point. I would suggest to you that it looks like we're just on target for some kind of a global conflict to erupt and be just tremendous. And if it did happen, that would be the moment that if NHI were going to intervene, that would be the time. The Bulletin of Atomic Scientists is a group that tracks our nuclear proliferation, and they look at the general overall threat, existential threat to civilization by nuclear war. And they have pegged the danger. They had this thing called the nuclear clock. I'll show you. The doomsday clock. And if you go to their website, this is it. Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. This is what they track here. So let me turn off Danny. And we'll go to, here we go. 90 seconds to midnight. means that we are closer now to a nuclear Armageddon than we have ever been. 90 Seconds to Midnight. There's a famous song by Iron Maiden called 2 Minutes to Midnight. 2 minutes to midnight is like, we're screwed. Now we're 90 seconds to midnight. So doomsday clock, 90 seconds to midnight as climate heat bites, doomsday clock. Humanity is as close as ever to destruction. Time magazine, Reuters, atomic scientists keep doomsday clock as close to midnight as ever. The Irish Independent, doomsday clock remains at 90 seconds to midnight. Al Jazeera, doomsday clock stays at 90 seconds to midnight. What we know. BBC, doomsday clock, 90 seconds to midnight. Guardian, 90 seconds to midnight. USA Today, Washington Post, Callaway Climate Insights, Time magazine. Again and again and again. The 2024 statement, you can go here and read this. A moment of historic danger. Nuclear risk last year was characterized by fraught relations among the world's great powers who were engaged in vigorous nuclear modernization programs as the nuclear arms control regime continued to collapse. Putin suspended the START treaty. This was a historic treaty to help denuclearize the world. So they're basically telling you, like, we are on the knife's edge, the razor's edge. And if NHI were to intervene, this would be a great time to do it. So if there was some type of a conflict that popped off, I could see that happening. You know, someone launches a nuclear weapon in anger, and then it gets immediately deactivated. And not only does it get deactivated, but then they just turn off everybody's nuclear weapons. Like, they shut the whole thing down. And then the ships appear. And you're like, what? Rock Bobster. Rock Bobster says, Night shift. You know what I love seeing? All the people just saying, I don't want to fight. Help me to safety. Advisory. And they do. It's time all the soldiers say, we're not fighting your wars. I agree. Old, rich men sending young, poor people to kill each other over imaginary lines on a piece of paper is like the dumbest shit ever. And we should get past that. Did you see the MERV strike on Ukraine? That was terrifying. Yeah, they're getting ready. Like, everybody's ready. Like, you can tell they just, somebody's just they're just like itching to launch. Someone wants to fire a nuclear weapon. They just want to see that mushroom cloud. They just want to do it. I get that sense, right? Like, there are people that are just like, let's do this. There is like a self-destructive circuit inside of human beings that I think some people, some narcissistic sociopaths or psychopaths are just capable of doing that shit. They'll just go for it. Why not? You know, I think if Putin thought it came down to, look at what they did to Gaddafi, you know, like, look at what they did to Saddam Hussein. When they get these guys, it's not pleasant for them. If Putin ever feels like his ass is done, I could see him launching a nuclear weapon and taking the whole works out. Why not? He's the, like, do you ever see him? Like, what happens when he steps down from power? He doesn't just go quietly into the mountains and like live out the rest of his life. I don't know. Like, it just seems like we're on this trajectory that feels very dangerous. Truth Master, the Ukrainians are quitting. I don't know. Are they? They look like they've been hanging in there for a long time. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for this. This is where we're at right now. I'm going to take a look at the Strange Mysteries YouTube channel update video that he just put out today, the live stream that he's doing right now. I want to change gears now and see if I can show you something else. We're going to take a look at the I hope I don't get dinged. I really hope I don't get dinged for this. I'm going to take a look at this Star Trek short film, and I'm going to try to do it without getting YouTube. I don't want YouTube to come after me. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to change gears now. If you haven't seen this, there is this the Roddenberry Archive put out a series of short films not too long ago. I mean, two years ago, and then since then they've been putting out new ones, and they feature some beautiful CGI work that's really top tier. And the one that just came out is called Unification, and William Shatner is in it. They de-aged him, and it is awesome. So I'm going to play it for you now, and let's take a look. We're gonna review this. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to turn my camera off.
possibilities, Spock said. And if Genesis is indeed life from death, I must return to this place again.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Wow. William Shatner, executive producer. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, I teared up. I'm teary-eyed. That was so good. That was so good. If you have not, people give Shatner a hard time. I don't know why. There's people who give Shatner a hard time, don't know what they're talking about. You go watch Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. At the end, that scene where Spock sacrifices himself to save the Enterprise, and at the end when they bury Spock, if that doesn't make you cry, then you don't have a heart. That scene where where Captain Kirk gives Spock's eulogy. I cry to this day. I'm turning 44 in a couple of weeks. I still cry every time I watch it. So good. So that's the new Star Trek short film. It's Unification 765874. Stardate. I don't know what this is in relationship to, but I guess there's something else coming. I don't know. And for those of you who are interested, we'll end on this. Where is it? if you haven't seen this, Strange New Worlds is awesome. It is the best Star Trek since Next Generation. It is so good. And Anson Mount plays Captain Pike, and he kills it. He crushes it. It's like the best. It's so good. So if you're looking for a really great show, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, they just got greenlit for seasons 3 and 4. It's so good. It is like everything that you want Star Trek to be, and they just fucking kill it. It's so good. Here's the official website. Rebecca Romaine's in it. The uniforms are awesome. The set design is phenomenal. Uhura's in it. It's great. It's really great. All right, gang. There we go. Okay, guys. I've got to wrap it there. That's my time for today. It's 4 o'clock. I got to wrap it up here. But thank you all for watching. I just wanted to show you that because the... Zoltan says the Picard series was awesome too. I think it was such fun seeing the OG characters coming back. Oh, it is so good. It was really good. Strange New World. Captain Pike is fantastic. Yeah, Chameleon UK. Watch it to see me cry again. You want to see me cry? Yeah, well, Star Trek makes me cry. It's that good. Best Trek in years. I love Strange New Worlds. Mind blown. The musical episode is everything. The musical episode is everything. It's so good. Watch if you'd like to be scared out of your... Oh, okay. Jason Richter says, your channel is so damn good, man. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. Lower Decks is really good too. Lower Decks is really good. Did you guys see, anyone who watches Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, they did a Lower Decks crossover episode with Strange New Worlds, and it's fucking awesome. It's so good. Lower Decks is the cartoon that I'm trying to get my kid into right now, and Strange New Worlds is the live action show, and they bring the cartoon characters into the live action show, and they do it in a way that is so good. It totally works. And it's Dennis Quaid's son, who plays, what's his name in Lower Decks. But he's awesome. It's so good. All right. We're going to wrap it there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and share this video if you think it was worth something to someone else. Please put it out there. Thanks for being a part of the channel. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed in just the last 30 days. Over 1,000 new subscribers in the last month. That's been tremendous. We're on our way to 20,000. We're going to be past 18,000 subs by probably this time tomorrow, with any luck. So it's a holiday week this week here in the States. Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, so it's going to be kind of a weird week for me. I'm going to try to stick with the regular schedule, but that might not be possible, so we'll see how it goes later in the week. I've got a lot of things going on, family and people coming in from out of town. So stick with me, hang in there. If you're in the United States, have a great holiday week, and I'll see you probably on Friday, I hope. I've got an interview with Kelly Chase from the UFO Rabbit Hole podcast, and she's produced a new series that's going to be on Apple TV called Cosmosis. I'm super excited to talk to Kelly. I'm going to be talking to her tomorrow for a couple hours, so this won't be live. This is going to be a pre-recorded thing, but I'll have it up on the channel later in the week, probably in time for the weekend. So look forward to that. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks to all of our members for supporting the channel. If you're a paying member of this channel, it means everything to me that you choose to support the work that we're doing. We're just trying to keep this conversation alive, keep it going, normalize the discussion, and talk about UFOs, UAPs, aliens, the NHI presence. What does it all mean? And do it in a way that engages everybody. We want to try to normalize this conversation, and the best way to do that is by talking about it. So thanks for helping us do that. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can, of course, become a member. You can go there on our YouTube page and click join, become a member. Or you can go to teamnightshift.com and you can pick up a piece of merch. You don't have to. It's certainly not a requirement, but I got to tell you, the merch is awesome. Our shirts are the best. I really pride myself on having the best stuff. So the hoodies are great. Sweatshirts are great. Mugs are awesome. I've got mine right here. Night shift mug. Check it out. Every little bit helps. Shout out to our mod team and Chris and Brett. Thank you so much. Shout out to Xander Jones for the awesome music and keeping the funk alive. You know, when it comes down to it, if there is an intervention or something happens, you know how we're going to beat them. The power of rock and roll. That's what it's going to be. Power of music. I think it's going to be, we're going to call upon Xander for the guitar solo that saves humankind. You're going to be forced to get up on like a giant mountain in front of the mothership and like play the scorching guitar solo that sends these NHI packing once and for all. Lords of Synth. All right, gang. That's it for me. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, keep looking up. Thanks for watching.